In this series, I'm going to be showing you how to sculpt a Ghost Leviathan from Subnautica. Let's get started. Here I'm just simply taking the paintbrush and rolling it along the edges of the clay to just smooth it out and get it firmly attached to the tinfoil form. Roll out a ball of clay until it's very thin, about 2 to 3 millimeters thin, and then take that and we can place it around the trapezoidal tinfoil form we're going to use for the lower half of the skull of the Leviathan head. Using the same method as before with the antlers, simply roll the clay onto the tinfoil form. Now, for the back of the neck, simply take another ball of clay and flatten it out with a paintbrush and then cut it into roughly rectangular, and we're going to wrap it around the back of the tinfoil form and just kind of roll it on and make it look halfway organic. Now use the same method as before, make a ball of clay, roll it out real thin, and now we're going to simply cut it into the rough shape of the fin that goes on top of the head, and then use that same rolling method to attach it to the top of the skull. We're going to cut out a very small section of clay and use a combination of the paintbrush and the flathead screwdriver to attach a little tongue looking thing on the end of the mouth. You can use the corners of the flathead screwdriver to make some thin scrapes along different areas of the skull, just to kind of add some texture and some randomness. It's also possible to use the bristles of the brush to kind of add some texture and smooth out some parts of the clay. Using a flathead screwdriver and the paintbrush, I was able to make some pretty detailed different shaped holes for the eyes and whatever the clone trooper armor tubes are on the side of the mouth and all those different holes on the front of the head. So yeah, just a very small flathead screwdriver to make the initial holes, and then you can use the paintbrush to roll them around to form whatever shape you want. For the horns on the end of the antlers, simply take a couple balls of clay and roll them out until they elongate to about ½ inch or so, maybe a little more. Just simply stick them on the ends of the antlers and use the paintbrush to roll the clay between the attach points, and they'll just kind of weld together. You can also use the rolling paintbrush method to lengthen or shorten the horns on the end of the antlers. And at this point, it's mostly detail work. Just keep using several reference images to keep fine-tuning that look until it looks satisfactory like a Ghost Leviathan. Here towards the end, I just kind of went back and adjusted both the tongue thing and the horns on the end of the antlers and just kind of made them look a little more proportional to the images. And yeah, other than that, the head is basically done. I will link in the description the clay I used. I don't remember what the tinfoil I used is, but just aluminum foil will work. Brushes, great value from Walmart. Box blade, bought from Harbor Freight. Tweezers, probably found in a ditch somewhere. Screwdriver, doesn't matter. Gloves, I think they're also great value. You don't need gloves because clay's not toxic or anything, but the gloves also keep the very light fingerprints from appearing all over it. If you press with any amount of force, then it will still leave a fingerprint. There's just a whole lot less fingerprints when you wear gloves.